I'm sure you're familiar with the common elements of composing, like using chords like majors and minors, and using arpeggios, and useful combinations of these for cinematic scoring. But no matter how technical you get and how far you break these elements down, there's a contributing factor to creating music for games and film that you may not always remember to rely on. For those of you who understand this concept, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about and why, so enjoy should you choose to stick around and watch the video. For those of you who aren't familiar with the concept of composing with motivation, or contextual composing, prepare to discover a whole new perspective on scoring. Now, when I say composing with motivation, I'm not talking about emotional composing or the intangible element of your personal motivation for composing. It's actually much more simple and logical than that. All it takes is an understanding of the situation and characters you're composing for. Situational psychology is the driving force behind all the decisions humans make, and it's no different from manufactured situations in games or movies. There's a setting, there are people in it, and there's some reason for what's happening in the scene, a motivation, an intent. This is where it all starts. It's time to put on your thinking cap and play Match the Cards. You've seen this done on a very basic and painfully obvious level when watching a horror or thriller movie. The environment is dark and eerie, and the protagonist is unsure and on edge. What does the composer do? The composer plays Match the Cards. They use a background that's dark and eerie, and they layer on a noise that's unsure and on edge. And then, when the jump scare comes, and it most likely will, the sharp and sudden appearance on screen is married with a sharp and sudden noise. This is the most cookie-cutter example of composing with motivation. I want to show you how to work with something a little more complex though. Consider this. Character A is secretly in love with Character B. Character B has a strong friendship with Character A, but doesn't seem to display any romantic interest in them. Character A has tried to tell Character B what they feel, but each time they try, they can't bring themselves to do it. It's a frustrating cycle Character A must deal with, because they're afraid that telling Character B what they feel will complicate and ultimately ruin their friendship. How do we score this? Do we copy a famous composer? You can, if you want to be lazy. Do we try to find some emotional content within ourselves, or fall back on commonly used sad chords with lonely clarinets compositions? Well, how about we let the scene and its characters decide? A and B have already established a strong friendship, so let's give them a backdrop with a major chord. But A is in a situation that is very unsure, so let's scrap the major chord. Let's try a ninth. That's basically a fifth with the ninth key added. The ambiguity of this chord is neither happy nor sad, which means there's a lack of resolution. That's what we need. A is put in a position that offsets their focus in the friendship. How about an A minor? Nah, too dark, too obvious. We need something that opens up the possibility of a resolution. F major. Here the lower F major holds some offset to the original C-based chord, but has a feeling of possible resolution. Okay, this works. A wants to tell B what they feel, so they approach. Let's move F major up to G major. This reflects the hope that the G major might resolve back to a unified C major and make everything happy again, like this. But that's not what's going to happen. A gets stuck when attempting to confront B, so the tension is raised but turns into negativity. Let's move G major up to A minor. The situation has changed, and things aren't sounding so happy right now. So far, so good. A's inability to speak out and their fear of ruining a good friendship causes them to sink into a frustrated state. Let's try dropping A minor down to a low minor chord to mirror this. Too far. We need more connection with this tug of war between hope and despair. How about E minor? Aha. We sink into a negative place that sets the stage for a cycle. Do you see where this is going? A, after some time, once again attempts to confront B in hope that they can confess their feelings. We move up to F major, hoping that a resolution will come. And we have a chordal cycle. This mirrors the perpetual cycle of A's hope and despair, all the while B is continuing on with the established friendship represented by the floating open C chord. The situation and characters in them have chosen the score. We've composed with motivation. You can perform this chord progression in any key you want. It doesn't matter what key you start in. The chord progression I showed you is common, so don't think you can't use it. And luckily, it's only one of many ways to interpret the situation we just discussed. The main thing was that we relied on our characters to make our score. And that's not even all of it. To give this scene even more emotion or signature, we can add a lead melody line to it. There's a ton of things you can come up with, but just for fun, I'm going to use the scene to come up with something real quick. Check it out. Imagine what A is thinking in words. Let's go with, I want to tell you, but I'm afraid. Repeat those words in your head and we'll use the violins to say the line. Using what limited tonal complexity the violins have, we'll move up and down a scale that fits the chords we're playing and doesn't rub against them. That will be the violin's version of saying the words. And the syllables of the words, I want to tell you, but I'm afraid, will be the rhythm. Like this. It works. Great. Now to give the track a natural arc, we'll start off minimal, mirroring A's shyness. Then we'll add more of the instruments and build up to the emotion. Then we'll let it down gently, mirroring A's reclusion into silence once more. Here we go. You know what? This could benefit from one more thing. Let's say at the emotional climax of this track, A is holding back a swell of tears. Let's use a cymbal swell to mirror this. And we'll just put it at the moment before the final chord cycle and play it back. And there you have it. This is just a small example of composing with motivation, or contextual composing. Watch this video as many times as you need to get familiar with the approach I used. The next time you're composing for a scene or story, try it out. Take it step by step until you get confident with interpreting characters' thoughts and actions into chords and melodies. See what you can come up with by composing with motivation. You can do it with piano, strings, percussion, anything you want. Try to match what's happening to the characters with the instruments, and you may find yourself creating some interesting things. And that's all for now. I'll be sure to provide some more examples of composing with motivation or contextual composing in the future, using different scenes and different characters, so keep your eye out for that one. And that's that. Check you later.